apparently, uh, with this patch, they also Blizzard wants to actually like do something about the toxicity or like a bad player behavior, which is basically like it's for you. It's for you, the Mythic Plus people that fucking like that fucking despise that fucking leave or insult people for fucking no reason. So, even people are so chill compared to them.
If I didn't chicken out, then this video was probably titled Blizzard are willing to punish WoW's worst players, which is kind of spicy, and it is one of the things we'll be starting off today's video with, because there's big changes coming for the next.
Oh, are Falling willing to punish worst players? Wait, is this like players that are bad at the game or players that are toxic?
Season of the game with patch 11.2. Honestly, a fair few of them do look really damn good. Week 1 isn't going to suck. Blizzard are actually finally going to tackle the problem of levers in Mythic Plus. We're getting way better like portal check.
Levers in Mythic Plus? Yes. Is they actually fucking deal with that? Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Checkpoints, a whole bunch of stuff that we'll get into. And I'll start with week 1 not sucking. Doesn't it suck when week 1 sucks? You know, the feeling you have patch day, you go into the game, you mill around some world content for 3 hours, and that's it. That's it. There's really nothing else that you can do. So the good news there is Mythic Zero dungeons and the world boss will be available on week 1. Now,
let me just check. Okay.
Mythic Zeros will drop champion gear and they're on a weekly lockout. Now, of course, if you want to be pumping Mythic Plus keys in week 1, this is obviously not going to make you happy, but if doing a Mythic Zero world tour to get a whole bunch of champion gear for the new season and a bunch of your characters sounds like fun, especially when it's early in the season and those characters don't have much gear, then yeah, actually this will be really good. This literally will be something to do where we previously did not have something to do. It's also something that plays with the idea that we enjoy preparing our characters. So that, I think, will make for a much nicer week 1 for our patch. Okay, the next thing then, the big thing. Mythic Plus levers are being punished. This is really fun. We are getting a vote to abandon system, which basically just means if your key is completely foobar, people can just vote to abandon, and you'll be able to leave the dungeon, and you won't be held hostage against your will. I suppose, unless you're the only person who wants to leave. But anyway, now, or at least in the future when the system launches, players who leave before a successful abandon vote will be marked as a keystone deserter. Now, the game isn't going to punish you in some very overt sense, but what it will do is it will label you as a keystone deserter, and that label will be one that people can see when they're on the group finder, which basically just means you'll be in bad social standing. People will look at you and they'll think, that's someone who might rage quit if they get really angry. That's someone who, well, won't stick through 1 or 2 bad wipes. They're not worth me taking the risk. That's basically what that'll do. Now, you will be able to earn your way back into good standing. That's just by sending me a lot of gold. No, actually, it's just by, well, maybe it is by sending me a lot of gold, because you can return to good standing by completing dungeons and using the vote abandon system properly. So basically, be a good citizen for a while, or, pay someone to take you along.
This is actually so fucking great because I am so done with the fucking, like, I am doing Mythic Plus 10s for the vaults. I am trying to push Mythic Plus 12, Mythic Plus more than 10. And basically the problem is that, like, people are so fucking toxic. And the levers and everything. Like the levers, you wipe one time. I had I had a group disband last boss because we wiped. On the last boss, everyone gets a fucking bolt, gets rewarded if we just do one more try. And it wasn't because like it was just like a mechanical wipe because like someone fucked up, right? It happened multiple times that the last boss people fucking abandoned. That half of the way you already spent 15 minutes in the dungeon, 10 minutes like coming to the dungeon, one wipe, some dude leaves. And this is a great way to fucking deal with this because like I am so done. I play like a class that is not like as I don't I play tank, so I don't really care as much for levers. But think of like healers and DPS. Healers, it's not as bad, but like as a tank, you always find a group. Like it never takes me like more than 5 minutes to find a group, right? But as a DPS, imagine you spent like fucking 20 minutes, fucking 20, 40 minutes to fucking get invited somewhere. Finally, you get invited, and some fucker leave. Some fucking loser leave, and you just lost an hour just because like someone wasn't able to fucking accept the fact that like it happens sometimes that you fucking wipe. And when you do Mythic Plus, usually it's for the vaults, and completion is actually fucking like useless. People usually running Mythic Plus 10 and above are like completion is like not something that like people should care about. Like a timer. I mean timer. So yeah, this is a great news. Deserter. Oh my fucking god. Blizzard actually took the time to fucking think about the players that are struggling because like some people are just like too much of a fucking victim to fucking like accept the fact that sometimes you just gotta do do an effort, do some more efforts, and you just like kind of just have to. Sometimes you're not the best, right? This is great. Deserter or leaving Mythic Plus. This is great. This next patch will be great. Just this update will make any patch fucking insane. Fucking great.
I bring that up as a joke. I wonder what sorts of unintended things will be here. Blizzard have definitely not presented this as a very final form of the system. I have to imagine that they won't really want shenanigans going on. But basically, the idea that a deserter can expect to have way worse of a group finding experience, I think that's a really good thing. Now, obviously, if you just play the game with your guild, this literally doesn't matter. If you just play with your friends, literally doesn't matter. But do you know what it does mean? If you're trying to fill 1 or 2 spots, then you'll have a somewhat better idea over whether that is somebody that you should invite to your game. And I suppose, wrote large, it should set up better incentives and overall give us a better M+ system. And essentially what it seeks to solve is a fun problem. You see these all over the world. It's called a unpriced negative externality. It's one of the reasons why people think a carbon tax is a good idea. In this case, though, basically, it can make sense to just leave a key, right? To leave a key early if you don't think it's going to be a good investment in your time. Literally, the game doesn't punish you in any way, yet by you doing that, you all but guarantee failure and a brick key for everyone else that you were with. That obviously is 1 person having a better time and 4 people having a really shit time. Obviously, Blizzard doesn't.
And on top of that, like the people who fucking usually leave feel so fucking edgy and better than anyone else, you know? They're like, yeah, fuck you, I can leave and stuff. I don't think I have like left like any group since I started playing the game. Like it's just like the attitude on top of that of the people who actually fucking do that is so despicable. That's why, like I said it many times. Fucking like I complained many times about the Mythic Mythic Plus people, and like the couple people with me who are just like doing their best and not fucking like are not fucking toxic, you know.
Want that, and well, if you don't want bad things, then you should definitely check out today's sponsor as well. I also have a problem. Vercel's V0 and every no-code tool on Earth have empowered a new generation of vibe coders. I've kind of joined them. My editors have actually been making internal tools for our team that previously we'd need an engineer for. There's a problem, a dragon, and that dragon is backend, and my sponsor boot.dev exists to help you slay that dragon. And I'm not even being cheesy. Boot.dev is built by a gamer for fellow gamers, and it fits my weaknesses, right? Coming from C# game dev, mostly in Unity, front-end stuff was kind of like fine and easy to me, honestly, but wiring up databases, dealing with auth, all of that was obscure wizardry. It just isn't really where I had learned. And that's why I swear by boot.dev. Lane and the team have baked the fun of an RPG, so quests, XP, guild style, Discord, that really is an amazing place, all into a curriculum that's laser focused on you getting serious back-end chops. If you've heard of words like data structures, API, auth flows, algorithms, Docker, if you've heard of those and want to know how to use them and build them, well, yeah, this is actually how. Now, you will build and deploy a server client Pokedex, you'll remake asteroids in Pygame, you'll even tackle job search preparation. And that's the thing with Boot. They don't skip the important stuff. So no more tutorial hell, no pricey bootcamp hustle bullshit, just a structured path that turns your energy to make shit into viable engineering talent. And Boot itself keeps on adding features. You've got the searchable spellbook and constant content drops like TypeScript, which is absolutely huge. And I also have a hack to save you some money. Boot.dev/Bellular, right? Code Bellular gets you 25% off your first purchase. And if you buy the yearly plan, well, 25% of a bigger number is a bigger number. That'll save you the most. And if you don't gel with it, don't worry, there's a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Onward to the next win then. Honestly, I love this one. It is more checkpoints being added to dungeons. Thank God. Basically, whenever you die, you often just end up at the start of the dungeon. You might have a 1 minute corpse run, maybe a 2 minute corpse run somehow. That absolutely sucks. It's obviously a penalty in terms of time, which is relevant in Mythic Plus, so I imagine they'll have to rebalance some keys based on this, but essentially what they're doing, right, is a sweep of all checkpoints in existing dungeons in the game. And they have a new philosophy, which is that the runtime should not be as punishing. I think they've realized that basically runtime isn't really fun. I mean, look, deduct seconds from my Mythic Plus timer. Sure, do that. And then just get me back into the fight really quick. Don't make me physically, live out my criminal sentence by this 2 minute runtime. That's basically really good. Now, this will be done in the form of new checkpoints. They will be much more visible in the form of some sort of floating summoning stone thing and a map icon. Obviously,
so basically the same save points as you have in Dells.
We'll have to get this right via implementation, but I really do like the look of this. And I think this philosophy of removing those paper cuts is applying to the new raid renown track. So yes, the renown track is going to be back for the raid. Just that this time though, it's 15 tiers down from 20, so it's not going to take as ludicrous an amount of time to go through. And at least based on this PTR version, it actually does look to be much improved. I'm not going to go thing by thing through all of it, but there's some real nice quality of life there. One that I really love. Trash gets weakened on a subzone by subzone basis as you progress through the renown tree, which basically just means you'll kill the trash way quicker. I absolutely love that. And speaking of going quicker, you'll unlock a 45% run speed buff after defeating trash at rank 10. So all that stuff is real good, music to my ears. Another real nice thing is soul forged augment runes, which don't expire in death, that can drop from the Soul Hunters boss. Now, in case you weren't aware, that's usually the sort of thing that's got a less fun method of acquisition. As an example, back in the past, you'd find that sort of thing on Revered or Exalted on a reputation. So yes, getting them this way I think is pretty damn good. There's some other neat rewards as well, like increased Warbound drops, Star Savior title, there's of course pets, some really cool looking mounts as well. Overall, I think a real solid iteration on what we got with the Galagio Renown. Okay, the next thing then is tier sets. I'm not going to dive into all of the details. Obviously, a lot of them could change, but we are getting something new, and that is that each spec is now going to have 2 different bonuses depending on your hero talent. So your tier set for your spec will depend on your hero talent, or at least, it'll be augmented by it in some way. That could be a sort of balancing nightmare. We'll have to see how it shakes out, but at least taking a quick glance over things, there are some pretty damn cool things that Blizzard are trying to cook up. And speaking of gear, well, we're getting a cloak. We're getting another artifact-style cloak, and at least based on what we know so far, I actually really like how it works. So, it will, of course, upgrade in power as you progress. Obviously, you make the item level go up, but also the visuals will upgrade as it gets more powerful. That's something that they did with the patch 11.1.5 tabard, so neat to have it going on with the cloak. Also, right, it will be instantly unlockable on your alts via a campaign skip that you'll basically be able to get immediately. So it's always nice to know that we won't have a whole bunch of chores to do in every single character. It's also something that will have loads of interactions. This means with the raid, with the new delve, with the dungeon, loads of stuff with the world mechanics as well, where it enables a new phase of Koresh and a whole bunch of other world interactions and content. And also, it will be used in raid mechanics. We saw that with the Sanity Cloak all the way back in patch 8.3. We'll have to see if they're able to use that one successfully here. That's actually not the end of what it does, because there's also ethereal energy powers that will be based on if you're a DPS, a healer, or a tank, so you'll have those proccing off in the raid, and to get them to proc even more, there's very rare boots that will increase that proc rate. There's also a ring from the final boss, which basically means that you and the boys can go and proc off together. Very fun. And also, there's a fiber socket. Basically, look, I don't really know what a tailored socket is. Maybe it's an embroidered patch, but whatever it is, tailors can make it. It goes onto your cloak, and it will allow for secondary stat customization. Assuming it's a beefy enough amount of secondary stats, that could be quite nice for optimizing our characters. Okay, that's a bunch of system stuff. How about we talk about content, though, because I also really like what's going on here. Tazavesh, then. So Tazavesh is back. It's actually back as our new, I guess, like friendly hub. They're opening it up. They're making it so you can run around the roofs, a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty neat, but for gameplay content, the Mega Dungeon version on its hard mode is returning. Now, Blizzard have said that the tuning of this and the loot will be a bit like Mythic Plus 10. They've said that it may contribute to your progress in the Great Vault as well, and that their goal is for it to feel like a mini raid. I absolutely love this.
I absolutely love this as well. A mini raid. Let's go. This is great.
Flash was awesome. I especially think the final half of it's particularly awesome. My main experience was in the season 4 of Shadowlands. I absolutely love Tazavesh, so going back there is absolutely fantastic. And the prospect of something that's designed to be a mini raid is again something that I absolutely love. Because, dungeon with your friends, very fun, but maybe you won't always want the timer. This, I think, is a great option if you fall into that category, but you still actually want dungeon content that is hard. So, that's looking really good. Also, though, there is a new dungeon. It's called Eco Dome Aldani. It's a 3-boss dungeon, and oddly enough, the storyline takes place after the main campaign and after the raid. We also know that it features Wastelander Ethereals and Devourers. And that gives me very big lore thoughts. Now, Devourers were from the Shadowlands. Honestly, they were one of the cooler parts of the Shadowlands. Basically, the whole idea, right, is that these Devourers were kind of assaulting into the Shadowlands from basically, like, the places in between realms. It's all very, very spooky stuff. They kind of seemed like a neat little, almost existential threat that a lot of people were very worried about, but it never really felt like it was a plot line that they were going to pick up on. I think it's actually pretty cool they're picking up on that. It's a weird thing with Shadowlands. It's a plot, absolutely blue, but I did like the Evokers. I think most people like the Evokers. Tazavesh really did slap. So it basically seems they've been able to scalpel out the actually good bits of the Shadowlands and leave all of the bollocks that none of us really want to hear about anymore again. Hopefully, we will never find out more about the jailer. Moving on to the new delve, though, we're getting something that I can see a lot of initial negative reactions to, because it's basically us going to the Azure archives. So, cue the angry comments of, it's an asset flip. And look, at worst, it would be that, and I would agree. But, Tears of the Kingdom, widely considered to be one of the best games of the last, 20 years, is also kind of an asset flip. It's very, very heavily based on, Breath.
Yeah, gameplay and the way, like, it really, when it comes to asset flipping, like, it really depends on how you do it, and if it is actually just basically the same old thing, same old theme, or if there is something new. there are like technically uh, asset clips that were like never fucking like. Let's talk about Black Next Ramas, for example. Complete asset clip, right? Well, no one fucking finished Next Ramas back in the day, so no one really fucking complained during the Wrath of the Lich King that like we go to Next Ramas, right? Some of these are, and we're bringing back like old Mythic Plus, right? No one complains about that, like, so yeah.
of the Wild. The point basically being, if it gives Blizzard more time to actually cook up cool mechanics and interactions, then maybe it is actually worth, going to somewhere where they've already made art assets. Plus, it's an MMO. The idea we can go back to other places in the world, I think, is a fairly good thing. And in this case, it does appear they're aiming for some new things. Basically, there's a whole Dark Souls inspiration going on where you'll see glimpses of other players' deaths, combat, and also potentially even messages that they can leave for you. That honestly does seem really neat. And also, the artifact cloak has got a whole bunch of interactions within it. Obviously, we'll have to just, play it and see if it's fun. But basically, I want to make the point that it's very easy, right, to drop a comment saying, they're going to the Azure Archive, asset flip, boring, lazy devs. But that does very much seem like a very reductive, all my brain is looking for is a reason to be angry or be disappointed or, leave an angry comment. No, I don't really think that's fair, really. I mean, an MMO should be able to reuse places that you've already been to. What will matter is, can Blizzard justify that? And if them not having to make a whole bunch of crazy new stuff just so there is a basic functioning delve, if that means that they can spend more time making cool interactions, being able to cook up more interesting bosses, more interesting mechanics, more interesting stories and themes, especially ones that can actually weave expansions together, then that totally does make a lot of sense. That's actually us getting a level of interconnectedness that WoW has been absolutely missing for a long, long time. So yeah, I can see people being angry that Tazavesh is coming back for some reason because lazy devs. But also Tazavesh was great. This makes it feel more like a place, and that's what MMOs really should be pursuing. Also, while I'm talking about delves, Kaivesa is our delve nemesis. And look at this achievement that Blizzard made for getting killed by her. I simply cannot believe that the people responsible for all of these feat shots are, once again, being horny in their video game. But anyway, on that absolute bombshell, that's a look at Season 3 stuff. I think it's shaping up in a fairly good direction. Let me know what you think, though. And if you want to see...
If you... Yeah, I'm already subscribed. Thank you, Belular. Like, it's up to this guy. This dude is really, really great. Like, one fucking good news. We get to fucking play the game, finally. With the fucking Mythic Plus, like, Deserter, we get to fucking finally play the game. Like, the nice people that are doing their best, and that know that we're not the best, and we're trying anyway,